You're live.
Okay, I am here with Kevin Sharp of Brutal Truth, Primate, Venomous Concept and Lock Up.
And I'm with Tove.
Yep. So this is your third time in New Zealand?
I don't know, Chris, how many times I've been here?
Three. Yeah, definitely
Well,
three.
No. But there was a couple with Brutal, right? And
No, just one tour of Brutal Truth.
Just one? Okay, so yeah, I don't know anything.
Three, yeah.
Ask him.
But the last two times you've been here,
Sure.
Brutal Truth have broken up. But they're broken up for good now, so what's going to happen this time?
I don't know what's going on. Like, that's absolutely up to them. I mean, like, in terms of, like, the band's dissolved, I mean, like, Dan's gone into this semi-hiatus kind of thing, so I don't know. I mean, with me, I still do this lockup thing, and I do, Venomous Concept and Primate when we have time and stuff. And
So what's been, you haven't had an album for Primate since Drawback a Stump, the first one.
yeah.
Is there anything in the works?
Well, it's like, there's always a conflict in schedules and stuff, and that's the problem you always have when you try and get like friends who are in multiple bands to do records, because they're always doing this, that, and the other. Things like with the lockup and stuff like that, I've worked with Shane a long time, so I don't know, we kind of know how each other work, and it's easy just to kind of like say, okay, we're gonna sit down and we done. That's sort of how like the last record came together. There was obviously some demoing and some ideas thrown out, but like mostly it was just like, let's put a record together, and we just went in and fucking did it.
So that was the Lock Up, the fourth album, Demonization?
Yes.
Yeah, I read a review of it, and it said that it was the best of the albums because you brought a vocally brilliant sound to the band.
I've never been called brilliant before. There you go.
Well, yeah, and so have you got any, but I also heard that there's another album in the works already, but that doesn't seem...
Well, there's some tracks that were incomplete, and there's some ideas for this, that, and the other, and I know that Anton's ready to get started again, so it's all, you always got to go ahead and get the process moving, considering it always, with, Barker's in with 5,000 different bands, and Shane is as well, and well, all of us really, Anton has his Criminal and Pentagram stuff, so it takes a minute to get things together.
And you have a construction business that's doing pretty well?
Yeah, I put things together.
Yeah.
I like to say that I build things and destroy music.
Excellent.
So.
Yeah. I was also curious because you recently became vegan.
Okay.
What were the choices for that? Like, why did you decide to do that?
Well, you get older, and I was vegan a long time ago, and you get older, and things start to fall apart.
Yes.
And I wound up on medications and stuff, and felt like shit, and it just felt like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just one day decided to make some subtle changes, and then I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go back to being vegan. It's just easier that way. And shockingly enough, like, everything corrected itself physically, and there's always like the animal aspect, being that, like, I like animals and I don't like to eat them.
Yeah.
But there's many benefits and many reasons that people become vegan, or why it's become so popular nowadays, whatever. But I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And
she's gorgeous.
Oh, thanks. Shucks. Probably not my good looks, but I always said that I'm not gonna make these kind of choices for her. And she came around like 2-3 months ago and was like, I want to make some lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what kid at school put this in your head? She goes, and she said similar things. She just said, I like animals, I just don't want to eat them.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of cool, like when you have a kid and they make some kind of conscious choice, like that you didn't like. Because I didn't want to be that dad who said, I eat this way, fuck you, you're gonna eat this way. You know, and I wanted her to make, I want her to make sound choices of her own. I want, I've worked very hard at letting her make her own decisions and responsible choices. And she's 11 years old and arguably makes more responsible decisions than her father. But, but it's interesting to watch kids grow and become little people and, you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I was 6 when I chose to become vegetarian, but when my son was born, I was always like, I'll eat vegetarian, but if you want to eat meat, that's your choice. Instead of that, he's actually decided to become vegan when he was 7. So he's 9 now, and he does Animal Rights Club every month, and
Yeah, it's weird that, because the internet really provides, as much as people are scared about the internet and their kids, it also provides like a wealth of like other information. Like when we were talking about milk and stuff like that, I was like, well, what do you think about cow milk and stuff like that? She goes, well, it's kind of weird, they keep the cows pregnant all the time, and in general, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of weird. And I always thought milk was kind of gross, man.
Yeah.
It's like, it never really made sense to me, but it was interesting that like she'd actually looked at things online, and those were the reasons why she made choices. When you asked her questions about it, it was like, oh, okay.
There were good reasoning.
There was a reason behind it, and I think the interesting thing with that is that like, they stand a better chance of making decisions, not along those lines, but like personal, strong decisions in their beliefs and thinking and stuff. So you feel like you've done something right, that like that they're able to formulate their own identity and stuff. She's more into like DC Comics and Marvel and stuff like that, and she's more into sewing and textiles and music. And she plays the ukulele, that's her thing.
Awesome.
And that's just cool. I know you enjoy being a parent too. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only sort of, I love America, and Hunter and I spent several months in America this year, and he absolutely adored it. And, I would love to be able to live there, but my biggest thing is, does it not scare you raising a child in a country where gun violence is such a problem? I mean...
Well, of course. But I work very hard at sheltering them from those elements, like, the thing is that like, I have her in, she's a really bright kid. She's in an accelerated gifted program. So the kids she are surrounded by it's a sheltered world. They're free to be their own person.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy everywhere. It's not just there, it's everywhere.
Oh, and definitely, but when I was over there, I had a friend in Auckland. He just finished playing a gig. He walked outside to talk to some friends and got accidentally shot in the head. And it's just it just seems to me like that was sort of I don't know if I could be comfortable with my son being somewhere that he could accidentally get shot in the head just walking down the street. That's more what I mean. Like, there's problems with everywhere, and the gun thing really does seem to freak me out.
Well, it's front and center, obviously right now, but I'm going to sound weird when I say it, but like the media kind of markets the thing. It's like, all the crazy shootings and stuff all began like when people created theme music to it. You know what I mean? Like a tragedy, it's got a logo, it's got a wag the dog to it, and I think the media kind of needs to be more responsible. I mean, I remember when I was a kid actually watching the news, and there'd be things that would not be depressing on the news, but like it's like you know, easiest thing to scare is fear. Sell it is fear.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. And it gets good ratings and stuff. People get concerned and worried about things. And then you end up having things like, well, someone who's mentally off, you know, and fucking needs to, how it reacts in a violent way. But, you know, I mean, we were talking about it the other day, and it's like, you know, in the States you can legally own
Fucking machine guns.
well, you can legally own flamethrowers. And,
It's for defense.
and all but one state, no, hilariously enough, or not really hilarious, but it's considered a firework. You know,
And we can't
and you
even
can
get
buy
Roman candles.
$800 and no background check.
For a fucking flamethrower.
Look online. You can buy it online.
We're not even allowed, we're allowed to buy fireworks 3 days of the year, and we're not even allowed Roman candles or anything like that. We're allowed sparklers and little fountain things.
Yeah, but and, you know, in terms of kids and stuff like that, I try not to get, because you can get wound up on like
Anything.
predators online. You get wound up on anything now, man. You know, it's all you can do is like raise your kid to have a brain and make conscious decisions that will keep her out of that. I have the interesting perspective with my child because she's grown up in this world and she knows Uncle Barker.
Yeah.
You know, but she also knows like the aspects of, you know, like drinking and like this, that, and the other. And you know, when I quit drinking, you know, I asked her like what she thought of that, and she was like, you know, because, you know, I don't know, I don't want to be a fuck up in front of my kid, you know, so.
They do make you want to improve yourself more.
Yeah,
than anything.
well, absolutely. If you need a reason to be a better person, there's one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm nervous in general with her growing up in this world. But
You can't wrap them in cotton wool.
yeah, but you know, I'd spent a lifetime with her, training her to. I mean, she travels. In her school, she went to Peru. She went to France. This year, she's going to China. You know, so it's like I didn't spend all this energy and double shifts putting her through this school to expect her to sit at home and become ordinary.
Well, I
You
don't
know?
think she's ever going to be ordinary.
No, but I'll get off this subject real quick because we can talk about kids and they're hilarious.
Yeah.
There's a classic story of like my style of parenting, and I think you'll find it hilarious. Okay, because she's like, you know, this whole Marvel Comics kind of,
Yeah.
but you know, with that comes the colored hair and the other things. And punk rock was our
Yeah.
expression. With hers, it's like the Flash and all these other kind of Marvel comics and DC comic things. And you know, she goes to the Dragon Cons and all this stuff. And, you know, so we got the big school picture coming up, right? And Mom wants the picture that she can send to Grandma.
Yeah.
You know, and Chloe wants a special picture that reminds her of a period. You know, your period of time. You know what I mean? Like being into the culture.
The zeitgeist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So the point being, like when you were a kid and you wanted your most outrageous punk rock haircut for your school picture.
Yeah, I got a mohawk when I was 7.
Ex-
I barcombed it into a comb over mushroom thing for the photo to the
Exactly. So she was like, I'm gonna get the purple hair, and we were like, okay, after your school picture, it's totally cool. You know, your mom wants this, you know, blah blah blah. But you know, she wanted this and the other. So what does she do? She goes into Dad's bathroom and grabs a bottle of peroxide. You know, just screaming orange, like, oh,
Well done.
well done. You know, as a dad, you're supposed to go, come on, man, you're killing me, man. Mom is gonna bust my ass, you know?
Yeah.
And but like inside, you're just going, oh, that's my little inner man just fucking,
Yeah.
you know. So, but I was like, okay, we're gonna go and get you some leave-in conditioner, and we're gonna, you know, because at this point it was just like, you know, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna.
smooth this over, but I guess the point was is that she lied to her mother, and that was a no-no. And I had to explain to her that like it wasn't necessarily the color yet. You know, obviously your mom wanted a nice picture for your grandma. You get that, right?
Yeah.
You understand that? She goes, sure. And I said, obviously you wanted something to remember you being a
Kid.
different
Yeah.
or unusual yourself or
Yeah.
whatever. But you know, here's the deal. You lied to your mom.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? And she goes, I'm gonna go apologize to her. I said, apologize to her for what? For lying. I said, then what are you gonna do? And she goes, I'll tell her that I won't do it again. I said, yeah, because if you do that and you keep lying, then you can't go to the whatever to have burritos with your girlfriend, and
Yeah.
you know you're gonna have to.
There'll be consequences.
There are
for lying.
consequences because if we can't trust you, then you can't do the things of the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that's how I parent.
Well,
How do you do?
Pretty similar. I mean, my big thing was my mum she's got a real issue with swearing. You know, if I swear, she smacks me around the ears. She's a lovely woman, but she just has a thing about swearing. And I've always said to Hunter, I don't moderate my language around you. My issue is misuse of words. I don't, if you use like gay or fag or whatever, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with you using the word hate. Like I really didn't, he went through a stage and he was like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this. And I'm like, that's a really strong word. I would rather you understand the word and use it appropriately because it's such a strong word. But swearing, not a problem. However, you have to learn to moderate your language. If you swear in front of grandma, she's going to lose her shit at you. If you swear at school, you're going to get detention and I'm going to laugh. So there's two sort of summing Hunter up's raising stories. When he was 6, he was at a friend of mine's house and they had the alphabets on the fridge.
Sure.
He wrote on the fridge, F-Y-C-K. My friend came in and he's standing there like, look at the fridge, look at what I've done. And she looks at me and she goes, I think you've spelt it wrong. I don't know, what are you trying to say? He said, fuck. And I'm like, yeah, she's like, that's spelt wrong, and gave him a spelling lesson. So he got really annoyed. And then the other day, actually, we were driving down the road and I said something and he goes, oh, you're such a bastard. And without thinking, I just go, actually, my parents were married. You weren't. You're a bastard. Shame. And he was like, oh. What?
You used English to hurt me.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's really good. He's a very smart, sweet kid. He's doing really well. He uses language appropriately. And I just sort of think...
Well, I mean, Chloe knows, she knows when she can cut loose but she also knows when the line has been crossed with Dad, and she knows her buddy, but she also knows Dad.
Yeah.
And she knows not to
confuse the two.
And that's important that you just make sure that they know who's leading the house, you know.
Oh, definitely.
So, but at any rate,
yeah.
all's good in the house.
That's good. So anyway, you've got a busy year ahead of you.
Sure.
Is there anything you'd like to sort of pimp out before?
Oh God.
Any albums coming up that you need to pimp or?
Well, we're working on the new Venomous Concept record, and there's a good chunk of that written. And we started work on this Lock Up record, and I started a thing with Bill and Ron from Mastodon and Eric Burke. You know Eric, right?
Yeah.
And Shane.
Oh, awesome.
So it's sort of just like all my friends.
Just another friend band.
Another friend band, and we recorded about, 2.5 hours worth of shit that we have to kind of weed through and figure out what we're gonna do. We'll either put it together and mix it, or we'll light it on fire. But it was a sweet week, you know what I mean?
Was it at Billy's new space?
Well, it was at in his basement.
Yeah.
I built a studio.
You built the studio
in his basement. Yeah. So when the rehearsal spot, it was in the other spot.
Oh yeah. Well, that's cool. And so, what will that be released under, if anything?
I don't know. It's always a headache, with the record label thing when I do stuff with Bill. But I don't know. I mean, I would like to just kind of put it out and not really do a label.
Yeah.
But it's hard. it's hard to just do that because when so many people have so many,
Different.
well, hands in it,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to like, but that was the premise behind it, was just to do something different that was interesting and stuff. So I don't really want to be obligated to do it or release it on whatever,
Yeah.
you know. So there's that. And what else was going on?
Anything happening with Primate? I think we should.
I don't know. I mean, everyone's like in dad mode.
Yeah.
You know, like Shane has like a real job now
I see.
and does a lot of
Yeah.
traveling and stuff. So, and it's always so frustrating trying to like get people to sit down and do something. And like I said, when I work with Shane, we just go, okay, I'm gonna come over to your house and we'll do a record.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the way you have to do it when everyone has, we're all in our mid-years. And we all have families and stuff, so it's easier just to,
You also live in various parts of the globe, so.
yeah, but there's that, but you know, that's never really stopped anything before, but you know, so, you know, I don't know. I would like to. I know that we had some rough ideas for some stuff, and everything got iced when like Bill does these records and they just like goes on tour for
Forever.
yeah, exactly. So hopefully in this window we can figure in some time. I would like to just say, okay, everybody, we're gonna go over to the space and we're gonna fucking write this record, and then the next week we're gonna record it. Because that's sort of the nature of that band, anyways. It's like spontaneous, not really complicated. You know,
It's just what you do. You just
my
get it
rock
done.
band.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. When do you fly out to Australia?
To 3:15 lobby call this morning. Can't wait.
Oh, wow. That's going to be some fun.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck, and hopefully you don't get delayed.
Sweet. Cheers.
Cool.
Good seeing you again.
You too.